Hello and welcome to Frank's School, 3rd year, 17th day, first videos. There's going to be a 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th today. My subject is the Quinta Pedagogica de Braga. It was one of the main reasons that I went to Portugal. I picked that out and I wanted to go find that place. And I did. We did. And I was very satisfied with what I found. This word quinta, I usually say quintal. I'm not sure exactly what the difference is in Portuguese, but I know that there is not really any English word that duplicates it, quinta or quintal. Farm/garden. Too big for what we think of as a garden, too small for what we think of as a farm. A small holding is about the closest, I think, that I've been able to come in English for the word. In German it would be Bauhof, I think. There's something a little bit like it in German. The video after this, I could have called it Déjà Vu Capella São Frutuoso. It's actually in the morning. What happened that day, and I think I've said it before, is we found the place, but we couldn't get in because it wasn't open Sunday morning. We had some misinformation on that. It didn't matter. So we went to Bom Jesus do Monte, and then we drove through Minho, looking at over the mountain and on those hard roads, and looking at the quintais from the car, and planned a day in such a way that we would get back to Braga in time to see this Quinta Pedagogica, if we could. I was still a little worried about, was I actually going to get to see it? I found more videos from that morning. You already saw videos about the chapel, the capella, but I didn't know where they were, and now I found them. There were some more videos where I filmed over the wall. So the subject really still is the Quinta Pedagogica. You see sort of an aerial view from a distance from a church. The third video is my details of. That's the one. It begins going through a narrow road. I was teasing Shirley a little bit about even with her GPS unit, she couldn't find it, and was this really going to be it? But she did. We found it, and then I go in and film it in details of it and talk about it as I go. So that. You'll see it. Then the fourth video is Shirley's details of the Quinta Pedagogica de Braga. She did a similar thing. She took videos, and of course what she chooses to look at is slightly different from what I do, but she and I both seem to film details. We like to do that. There's a cat that keeps showing up all the time. Yeah, sort of a cat like this one. And then the fifth one is Shirley's slideshow, where she put a slideshow together of still pictures. And they all have some use, I think. Well, my purpose in so much of this is to study, for me to study what I see. I filmed it, filmed details, I can look closer, I can look again. And if any of you decide to do something similar, you need to pause and look. And oops, I forgot my tea. It is not a zoo. At a certain point you can think, oh, this is like a children's petting zoo. No, it's not a zoo. There's lots of zoos all over the world and lots of children's petting zoos. But I frankly don't know of any other example of a Quinta Pedagogica. Well, there's one that has that name that Shirley found in Sintra. No, not Sintra, in Cascais near Lisbon. And we looked, and it is for children, but it's a lot more like a petting zoo, I think. It was Sunday, and so you don't see children. You see maybe one child. As I think I said, I'm sure I said elsewhere in this course, that's open to the general public on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. That is seriously for children. It's not for adults. On certain days are there sort of like guests. That's the way we were. And now I did want to point out that there liquid petroleum, LP gas, natural gas, propane gas. I didn't see any, well, I'm sure there wasn't one, but they have a greenhouse there, and you can grow almost any plant anywhere with enough heat and enough light, but that's not what's going on there. Now, that's much more. I said I felt no CAC shock there, kilocalories as currency shock. Not there. That was done very gently. I'd like to know how many gardeners actually work there, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's not too many, but that they work very hard, which would be typical of Portugal. Well, I'm not going to be quite finished with farming in Minho, I don't think, after today. I'll still come back to it a little bit, but here is the highlight, and I was very satisfied that I found that place, and I was delighted with what I saw. And once again, I come back to that idea that, in a way, I think maybe that's the way the world should look. Oh, and I was going to say something else. One of the things that makes that world so different from the world I live in, I'm surrounded by, is lawns. People don't have grass lawns, and they don't have riding lawnmowers, and they don't try to make the area around our house look like a golf course. No, the ground is working. If you had short grass, it would be because you made the hay, and it's ready to grow again. You don't mow the grass when it's that high, you mow the grass when it's that high. Or it's pasture. So, I mean, maybe that's obvious, but I mean, in a way, that almost might be the quickest way to imagine how different the world would be. If everywhere that there are lawns, say in America, say, instead it was gardened. Then you would begin to approach it, and you can see I'm a real big fan of it. Well, I hope you enjoy these videos. Here, come on there, Roger. Say goodbye. He's about to attack me earlier. See you next time.